What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. Another perfume video. Today we are talking about Cuir Cannage. And why not? It is a very big, bold, leather themed perfume. This is Christian Dior's take on a leather purse, a leather handbag, a woman's bag, leather women's handbag. I get a whole lot of that, and saddle leather, if I'm being totally honest. But if you haven't already, check out yesterday's top 10 favorite leather perfumes with Rich, Mitch, and I. I know it's a 4-hour video, but I promise it's jam-packed with lots of good leather recommendations. So if you're a lover of leather perfumes, check that out and report back. Let us know what you think. I thought it was sensational and had a lot of fun making that. So check that out. This was a pick from Rich Mitch. This was picked by him as one of his favorites, and I can see why. It's loved by many. It's a big, bold perfume. It's a big perfume. It's a statement maker. Dior sent out a statement maker in terms of richness and depth and complexity and beauty. It's got a vintage feel to it. It's got a vintage texture, a vintage wear. Maybe more modern vintage than vintage, but you get the drift. It's quite powdery. Yeah, I think from an outside perspective, from an exterior shell, it would feel mainly powdery, and then when you go a little bit deeper, it gets waxier and soapier and smoother, almost like shampoo. The feeling of shampoo when you're shampooing your hair, it has that sort of feeling to it. Really nice, really clean, very fluid. The leather note never really gets dirty, never gets barnyardy or animalic. It's moderate. I would call it a moderate leather, like in terms of challenging. This doesn't challenge the way, let's say, Cuir de Russie does. That is much dirtier in terms of greenness. Green is a turnoff for some people. Cuir de Russie is much greener, maybe dirtier in the sense of barnyardy. This is less of that. This is more of I would call this a more durable, structured leather. Like I can feel the denseness of this leather just by the texture of it. It's a very heavy leather, a well-made, luxurious leather. Suede-y. It's got a good element of suede. It's got toughness to it. More like a baseball glove toughness sort of feel to it. I always thought baseball glove like a Rawlings, right? And then it's got that powderiness coming from florals, which doesn't really go lipsticky. It does go powdery, somewhat cosmetic. I think cosmetics, but never really like lipsticks or I don't know. It's a tough call. It is cosmetic-y. Now, how much? It all depends. I'd like it to go even more cosmetic-y than it does, but it doesn't. But that's that's what it is. It's a little bit cosmetic-y. I don't know how to explain how much is a little bit, but you know what I mean. It's got this really fabulous, slightly green, mentholated, ice cold, very cold opening. This just mentholated floral accord of jasmine and orange blossom is what I pick up mostly. Jasmine and orange blossom, which really open up in the heat. I know in the warmer weather, these florals really shine in that opening. I get mostly an interplay of jasmine and orange blossom. I don't pick up a whole lot of the iris or the violet. If anything, it's powder that I'm getting off of that iris. And if there's violet, it's probably just giving this an extra deep shade of darkness. Is a very dark perfume. It's a dark leather. I think the perfume is darker than the leather, actually. I get a more of a tanned color leather, and then the rest of the perfume darkens it. There's a very ashy base. It's quite smoky and ashy. It never really gets churchy or ambery, but it has this element of Shalimar powder to it. You know, that Shalimar is ambery, but it's also got the powder is ambery. So you're hit with 2 doses of ambers, and that's what this feels like, is that that powder is ambery. So it has this little bit of Shalimar-esque to it, right? This to me is certainly one of my favorites from what Demachi has done at Christian Dior. And I know I've battered him over the years with, I don't know, just trying to defame him or I don't know. I just was never really into his style, where they were very blotchy and choppy and lacked that French elegance that I liked from the other perfume brands. And he was bringing out a lot of sweetness and I don't know, almost felt kind of like gimmicky, like Toba Color and Vanilla Diorama, right? I much prefer this and his earlier perfumes than his later work. But yeah, this is great. This is very big. This perfume it's bold, it's loud, it's a bigger perfume than I am, and it walks into the room much sooner than I have arrived. It's it's loud. It's got a lot of personality. This is, if you're on the dance floor wearing this, you're the loudest person in the room. You will certainly be noticed. It has this big cloud of powders, of soapiness, of waxiness, of amberiness, of orangeness, almost like an orangey leather. Orange tanned leather. That's what it feels like. A very big, bold 80s hair perfume. I gotta say, shout outs to Rich Mitch for the recommendation. I wore this today because of your recommendation and enjoyed it more than ever. So, you know, I still do prefer Cuir de Russie. Cuir de Russie, like, it really touches my heart, and when I wear it, I just kind of sing and dance, and I feel like, you know, my soul is dancing with Cuir de Russie. I'm not quite there with Cuir Cannages yet. It's close. You know, I can maybe see in the distance. Right now, Cuir Cannages is like on the other side of the dance floor, and I have noticed her, and I am now flirting with her with my eyes. That's what's happening. And we'll see what the next move is. I'm not sure. But thanks, Rich Mitch, for the recommendation. Thanks, everybody, so much for watching. We'll see you all soon.